Again, I'm a voyeur, so I love it. I'll watch it. I don't.
It was definitely.
Sideshows that would come in and stuff. Do you still do those?
Or yes. Like this?
Oh, and the butterflies, before you get on, you're waiting in line.
Certified freak.
Yo, what up, shoppers? Joe Smino here with
Marilu.
welcome to Shop Talk number 2513.
Woo!
What's up, Migote, Bubbles, Jason, and the Merce Sausage?
Hello, hello.
Can everyone hear me okay?
I can.
What's up, Big Bacchus? Well, so far we have 5 of the 7 people watching have chimed in. So the other 2, please
Introduce yourselves.
please introduce you. Yes. Consider this like an AA meeting. Everyone's got to introduce themselves. What's up, Keith?
Hello, Keith.
Forgive me, I was just eating a Mexican chocolate Rice Krispie treat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jason has good news. He got himself an Oculus VR headset, and now he can watch all his adult films on it.
Okay.
My question is, are you watching the live stream on your VR headset? I don't know. Can you do that?
I mean, I don't know. It depends what it is that we're doing. I don't think it would do anything because we're already kind of live, aren't we?
I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Anybody have any experience with VR headsets? Did we talk about our experience when we went to...
I don't think we've ever talked about our experience when we went to the Avians. I mean, we have, but not from the standpoint of like seeing the VR and all that kind of stuff.
Elizabeth, John, Chantel. Okay, Jason says you cannot watch it. He's just watching on YouTube on the tablet.
Got it.
Mike likes to watch us on the TV. I wonder, does anyone else watch us on their actual television on YouTube? Just kind of curious.
Migote used to be a big VR gamer back in the day.
Used to be?
Yeah, when you were a youngin'.
Listen, my last console video game that I played was Call of Duty. I think Modern Warfare 2 on PS3. That's how long ago it's been since I've actually played a video game. What's up, Steven?
Yeah, because we had at the apartment in Euclid, and then we were kind of like, I think we played once or twice while we were there, and then we ended up moving here to Pittsburgh, and then it was like, video games? We don't have time for video games. Oh.
Well, so far, Big Bacchus and Migote also watch on their television, so I am happy to be in your living rooms and bedrooms.
Oh my God.
Yes, very much so. So it's important to let everyone know that this podcast is sponsored by the Slut Union, the International Association of Ethical Sluts, Local 412. Be sure to get your Slut Union gear at slutunion.com.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Victor?
Hey, what's up?
Good to see everybody chiming in tonight.
Yes. I was like wiping my desk of everything, so trying to get back to working at my desk and not on my laptop and everywhere and anywhere else in the building.
Well, I did spend a good portion of the afternoon on the patio today.
You did. You did. But that was mostly phone calls. You you take your phone calls outside of the patio sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But, you
That's when we have
know,
a full house.
yeah, the sun came out, so it was turned out to be a pretty gorgeous afternoon. So
Cool.
I'm happy with
So,
that.
so
Yes.
you want to recap this weekend?
Do I want to?
Yes.
Oh, why don't you? Go ahead.
I'm leading you
Oh,
in.
you're leading me?
Yes.
Yeah, a little twist.
So Friday Friday night we had the open house.
We did.
Hmm. And that's always fun. I actually was behind the bar on Friday night
Yeah, how was
for a
that
little
for
bit.
you?
Oh, it was great. I haven't been behind the bar in
Oh,
over,
years.
over 5 years.
Oh, only 5 years?
No, maybe since here in Pittsburgh longer.
Hmm.
But yeah. So, because when we used to do the open houses in Canton, it would just be me behind the bar and you giving tours and talking to people and so forth. So it was it was a lot smaller space also to deal with. But that was always fun, talking to new people and getting the input on the space and so forth. From being behind the bar perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it was fun. It was fun this Friday,
Hmm.
past Friday. What about you?
First of all, I have a question. So you were behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could run behind the bar, let's say this weekend coming up, if need
What,
be?
that I could work behind the bar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Could you handle the crowd?
Oh yeah. You know,
I'll have to put that to the test sometime.
I have to put the proper shoes on for that,
Well, that's true too.
which is I usually wear, boots.
Sensible shoes.
Yeah, flats behind the bar because I'm not one to wear high heels behind the bar and get my heel stuck in the the floor mats in the holes, and then have a complete and total thump on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I always wear the sensible shoes.
So yeah, every first Friday of the month we do an open house
Mhm.
for new members to basically
Ronnie,
Rockin' Ronnie from Hito. What's
yes,
up, buddy? I think he's in Hito for almost the entire month of April.
I believe so. I think he comes home for 1 week, and then we meet up with him at Hito.
So we'll circle back to Hito because we're
Yeah,
actually going there at the end of May, correct?
end of April.
Wait, end of this month?
Yeah,
Oh shit!
you better start packing your nothing.
I better get on my diet and start exercising. I got to be running around naked for a week.
Oh my god!
I forgot
But
about it. I was thinking it was the end of May for some reason.
no, end of April, April 26th through May 3rd.
Whew, okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, Ronnie, I'll see you in a few weeks. I'm glad Mary Lou keeps my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so on the first Friday of every month, we host an open house. It's sponsored by the International Association of Ethical Sluts, Local 412. New members can come in and see the space from 8 to 10 at no cost.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even need an actual membership. You do need to have an approved profile or an application to
Right.
attend, but we had a lot of new couples come through on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been doing this since the beginning of the year, actually since December.
Yeah.
and it's worked out really well.
And we even had some old members who've been gone from the area for a while that came back on Friday as well, and we're totally amazed by all the changes and stuff since they had been gone.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
mhm.
So yeah, so we enjoy that. I think it's a great opportunity for people to really come experience the space in a very low pressure atmosphere. What's interesting, and I didn't think this would be the case when we did it,
Mhm.
virtually all of the new members end up going ahead and purchasing their membership and buying tickets to stay.
For the
Um,
day, yeah.
Usually just a couple of people who are really, really, really super nervous, um, and just want to come back another time, maybe, or maybe it's not for them.
Yeah.
So,
But at least they had the opportunity to walk through the space and see what it's about.
yeah.
You know?
So, but Saturday was an interesting night, I
Yeah.
would say. Deviancy, a naughty affair.
Yes.
Naughty, Knotty, little pun on words for.
Mhm.
Basically, it was a rope bondage night, and I was really impressed by number one, the fact that we did sell the event out, and then we
Mhm.
released more tickets. We had talked to the staff, and we felt comfortable bringing more people in, so we ended up with close to 200 people on Saturday night.
Mhm.
But what I thought was really crazy was
Yeah.
that we bought an entire spool of red rope for the instructors from Rope Bite to tie people in harnesses.
Mhm.
1,000 feet
Yeah.
is what they cut, and they cut them in lengths, I think, of 15 or 30 feet. I can't remember now.
Mhm.
But they went through the entire spool
Yes.
tying rope harnesses. Um, I was talking to somebody earlier today, one of the instructors, and they had said it was interesting. It was like right after the first or second person started getting, tied or the harness, like all of a sudden there was this massive line of people wanting to get tied.
Oh yeah. Wow. All it needed was in the beginning, you get a couple people, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, wait a minute, we're the demos. We get to get tied up, yay!" And then and then it just kind of went from there. And then I was having actual fun watching people because as uh, you different instructors were tying different harnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was kind of like looking at like, oh, what's your tie? How does your tie go? Let me see the back. La, da, da. So everyone was checking out everyone else's harnesses and how they were tied, and it was pretty cool. Well,
I think so too. I think it was a
mhm.
great way to highlight Rope Bite and their organization and the stuff they do.
Mhm.
Um, there's a Rope Bite um,
This weekend.
this coming Sunday, also. So we'll talk about that
Mhm.
later in the show. But yeah, so Naughty Affair was so successful. We've already um, have the next date scheduled.
We do.
So put a
Hold on, let
safe.
me get a pen because I'm like, I haven't been told.
Listen, I'm in charge of the schedule.
Okay.
No, so put a save the date in for Saturday, August 2nd. That will be the next Naughty Affair. So we'll be doing the same thing. We'll probably be buying 2 spools of rope this time because it was 90 minutes. Literally from 9 o'clock till 10:30, they went through that 1,000 foot of rope,
Yeah.
and there were still people wanting to be tied. So
Yeah, that was a lot of, I mean, in an hour and a half, they tied quite a few people, for that. Go
oh.
through.
So Mo was asking if it was BYOB, and Bubbles said yes, but this Saturday is going to be Mo's first time at the club.
Sorry. That part's
That
there.
was perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Well, we're glad you're excited, Mo, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Was there anything were walking around a little bit more? Was there anything interesting that you witnessed or saw on Saturday?
we had a lot of birthdays on Saturday. That was one for sure. And even with all that, I never stopped long enough. I mean, everyone obviously was offering cake and cupcakes or whatever, but I never stopped long enough that night to actually partake. Bless you, in a cupcake. Bless you.
Excuse me. Wow. I think it was the Mexican chocolate Rice Krispie. I'm sneezing. Mary Lou's yawning. I think we're going to bed early.
Oh my god. Bubbles is going to be here on Saturday too. Yay!
So anyway, you said there were a bunch of birthdays. You didn't get
Mhm.
any cake or cupcakes.
No, but other than that, I mean, there were a lot of people in the dungeon, a lot of scenes. The it wasn't just the usual flogging. There were some people that were kind of like, "Oh, wait a minute, we got this rope, so you know, let's go with it."
I didn't get to see it.
Hmm.
Bubbles says Mexican chocolate makes you sneeze. No, I don't know. I think so the Mexican chocolate. A good friend of ours actually made it for us, and there's some cayenne in it, and so
Yeah.
it's got a nice long hot
Mm.
finish.
We're talking about chocolate.
It coats the inside of your mouth, slides down your throat. You feel it going all the way down.
A nice warm.
And the heat just stays there for a while.
It does. I know our friend was, because you didn't tell me that they had brought it in. And they were like, "So did you try it?" And I'm like, "Try what?" And they're like, "Oh, G didn't tell you that I brought him in?" And I'm like, "No." So then, of course, we ran into the kitchen and we're like looking for where the package was, and we found it. And unfortunately, this person uh, couldn't partake because they're gluten free. So, um, so that I had to do the taste tester, and I'm standing there and I was like, and I was scared about the consistency and this and that. And I'm like, well, hold on, oh, yep, there it is. I'm like, there's that warmth. I
The
was like,
heat.
the heat. It's warming the cockles of my heart, is what I said to her. And she's like, the what?
You said cock.
And yeah, I'm like, well, the cockles of my heart. My heart was like, I'm like, it's got a nice, smooth heat to it. It's like perfect.
Cockle sounds too much like cuckold to me.
Oh, okay.
I've got a little cuckold in my heart.
Oh my god. So yeah, that was like, finally, yay, we got our chocolate.
Hey, Nicole. Long
Hi,
time no see.
Nicole. Yes, yes.
Welcome back.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun trying that. And then, of course, last night I had no choice but to make myself a strawberry shortcake out of. But since I didn't have shortcake, I used the Mexican chocolate Rice Krispies with strawberries. I put that on, then I put strawberries on it, and some blueberries, some raspberries, and then just a little bit of honey, and then some nuts, and then some whipped cream, and then some little espresso sifted on top of it.
Where was I at for this?
Sleep on the couch. It was a perfect opportunity for me. I was like, okay. Hmm.
I see how this goes.
Oh, but hey.
So on Saturday, I was talking to a couple of people, and I guess apparently I missed this. There was a double suspension
Mhm.
that happened. Did you get to see this?
I saw part of it. Yes,
Ah.
it was actually for someone's birthday, their 50th birthday. Them and their partner had they did a double suspension that was Russ with Twisted, did it. along with uh, Pete helped. They did the other show. It was yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, so
Uh,
Bubble says they have an ice cream maker, which I don't know why we don't have one. Um,
I was actually thinking about that the other day.
but they plan on utilizing it this summer to make Mexican chocolate ice cream.
That sounds good.
Well, I had somebody ask me recently what it would take to get me kidnapped, like to get in a van. That might be it. Mexican chocolate ice cream.
Uh, or inevitably not get you in the van because you've had so much.
It'll be a full size van, not a minivan.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a traditional kidnapper van,
It
dark.
won't be a foofy conversion van.
Yes, it'll be a black windowless van
Okay.
with a cage in the back.
Okay.
Kind of reminds me of somebody's idea of having a mobile dungeon. Maybe that's what a kidnapper van is, a mobile dungeon.
There you go. Oh my god.
What?
Bubbles is like, I don't think you're talking about chocolate anymore.
I want to know what the heck London fog ice cream is.
Wait a minute, doesn't Cookie ice cream? Didn't they try to make one?
I don't know what it is.
It was,
That's a good bribe, Bubbles. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good bribe. You come in, you never know what you're gonna get.
oh my god. Well, we're back on to the discussion of ice cream. Didn't we do this a couple of weeks ago? We had everyone talking about ice cream and what we were getting for ice cream.
There is a pattern, it seems, to our conversations.
Yeah, you know, food, sex.
John Weiss says they're imagining getting kidnapped in the Shaggin' Wagon or the Love Bus. I think either is equally appropriate.
I literally just had the visual of the the dog grooming van from Dumb and Dumber.
I was thinking of the Partridge Family family bus.
Uh, no, Nicole, that is very good.
Oh,
Um,
a tea latte made with Earl Grey, vanilla, and lavender.
mm-hmm.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I have.
Hmm.
When the coffee shop used to be down the street over in Chartiers before they closed,
Mm-hmm.
they used to do this really funky lavender Earl Grey tea. It was really good.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wait, was it an ice cream or a tea?
No, it was a tea.
Oh, we're talking about ice cream here,
I know, but the same flavor that made into ice cream. Yes, very good. So, but anyway,
You need to stop talking about ice cream.
okay. Because otherwise, we're gonna have to cut this short because they close at 9. No, I'm teasing. But anyway,
So,
what else was
yeah.
Saturday? We had the double suspension for someone's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Did
saw a
you
lot.
did you see anything interesting?
Um, I mean, that was one thing. Other than just there was a lot of activity in the dungeon.
Yeah, definitely one of the busier deviancy nights. That's for sure.
Mhm.
So don't forget, August 2nd will be the next one. So
Yeah.
pencil that in.
Mm-hmm.
Save the date.
Save the date. Yeah. But it was a good night overall in the back, in the dungeon, and even in the club space. There was like a lot of conversation and socializing going on, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to see everyone just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you said that about socializing. Somebody had asked me recently. Some of you may have noticed the club has been sort of rebranded or renamed as the Shop Social Lounge. All of our social medias are now that Shop Social Lounge, and the big reason for that is that the club is primarily a social club,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that I want to use this as a segue to talk about fears.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of, I mean, we all have fears, right? We have,
Right.
you know, it's always fearful to venture into something new, especially something that's completely unknown to you. Even starting a new job, right? That can be
Yeah.
scary. Even if it's in the same industry or space that you've been in for many years, it can be scary. So, wanting to attend or at least explore a club like the shop can be really, really scary for some people. And you've told the story before about your first sort of swinger club experience or how you
Mm-hmm.
got exposed to it. Um, but I know that at some point you attended a club as a member for the first time. And I'm curious to know number one, from you, Mary Lou,
Mm-hmm.
what were your fears before, you know, deciding to do it? And then what were your fears leading up to walking in? And how did you overcome those things? Like, what were the things that you were thinking about that pushed you forward to do it?
Um. Okay. So beforehand, the process of getting to the club and registering and all that back then was a lot different than it is now. Um. So. Um.
Well,
For
what were your fears? Like when you first were discussing it or talking about it or thinking about it, what fears did you have, if any?
um. I think for me, I wasn't even thinking about like if I was going to see people I would know at the space or not. And my overall thought was just, what's the space going to be like? Is this going to be like everyone always says, like what you see on TV?
Mhm.
Is it going to be this dark, dingy, like, "Ooh, don't touch anything"? Ooh, ooh. Um,
So
you
you
know,
were worried it was going to be disgusting and dirty.
yeah, and obviously, um, you put a lot of things into your head, like, oh my god, what's this going to be like, and what to expect or not to expect, or you know oh, okay, I remember getting a phone call back as towards where to go and how to obtain access to the building, and then realizing when we got to the building that shit, I've worked behind this building for years and didn't know that that's what was going on there first. And then it was funny because there was like a little buzzard, and it had two little red and blue hearts on it, and it was like you hit the buzzard and you got buzzed in. And then my next thing was like, it's come up to the third floor or fourth floor, yeah, and then it was like the never ending stairwell,
4 flights of stairs.
4 flights of stairs, and being like, well, there's nobody, you don't see, there's nobody else in the stairwell, it's just you and myself and my partner at the time, and being like, okay, you don't see any, you saw cars outside but you didn't see people, so it was like,
Were you worried you might be getting murdered?
well, I knew what the building was, and I in the sense that I knew it was old lofted apartments and stuff at one time. So I was kind of like, where the hell is this up on the fourth floor? You know? So after climbing those 4 flights of stairs in high heel shoes, um, I was met by a person asking for our IDs and to pay at the door, and the whole process of getting into the space. Um, and then once when we were in the space, I was kind of like, oh, okay, because the way that particular club was set up at the time was You had the bar area, and the club area was on one side. When you came up the steps, that was on the right side of the fourth floor. And then the play areas and so forth were on the left side. So you had to go through these big double doors to get to the playrooms. But otherwise, the two sections were totally separated. So, if you only went to one side, you didn't know what was going on in the playrooms. But there was a pool table, there was a cute little bar, there was a a dance floor, and then there was like a little upper level, like staged dance area, with the railings, with the gold railings and stuff from back in the day, uh, and it was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. It's like an after hours bar, nothing else. So, um, any fears or any trepidation I had about the space and what it was going to be like inside, that was totally like, woof, gone. You know, no issues there. Now, going into the playroom areas, I was still kind of like, okay, how do you navigate this? And it was interesting. There were a lot of little nooks and crannies where you could like watch people and so forth. But I think the best was there was like this lofted area over the playrooms, which you went up this little staircase, and then you just kind of dropped yourself on the ground. It just kind of laid there and looked over all the rooms and everything, because obviously the doors didn't, or the walls didn't go all the way up to the ceiling, so you could see in the rooms what was going on. So it was like this little perch up there.
Like a little voyeur loft.
Yes, and so that was kind of interesting. Um, but then I realized too that there were like little tacks on the edge, so people wouldn't like fall off or like not put their hands and within the actual space downstairs to disturb the people. Um, but no, I mean, once I got through that first like, oh my god, what am I walking into? And I was fine. I had no fears, no qualms, no anything about the space. It was I felt very at ease and very relaxed because it was so social. Even our first night there were people that were coming up to us at the bar and like, hey, we're so and so, and who are you? And da da da. So I felt very comfortable, at that point. Now, granted, as a female, there's certain things that were kind of like the cleanliness and is someone going to touch me and inappropriately or unwanted or that kind of stuff. All, of course, was going through my head. But none of that happened.
Hmm.
You know, and we also, for me, it's as a female too, is like, am I dressed okay? Am I not dressed okay? Am I overdoing it? That kind of stuff. Were also things that crossed my mind, and once I was there, I was like, oh, okay. Again, nothing out of the ordinary at that time for me. So it was very welcoming.
That's good.
Yeah.
So John asked a question, and I think so I'll read the question and then I'll sort of state it back and make sure that I understand it. The question is, what about the fear associated with seeing someone at the club who you may have had a bad experience with or even a falling out with, and getting past the anxiety of potential interactions with those people? So basically, what I think I'm hearing is that they're, maybe at one point they were friendly with somebody, there was some sort of falling out, and now they're having to see these people in the space and potentially interact with them. Is that what you're getting out of that, Marilu?
That's what I'm getting out of it. Yes. No.
Do you want to take a stab at that?
No, I'll let you go first.
Thanks, Mary, though.
Mhm.
That's a really interesting question. And
Yeah.
it's certainly something that does happen. And I think the answer to that really depends on the people. Who are the people that you've had a falling out with? What was the falling out about? Um, or is it just, you know, did things just get weird? Um, but it does happen a lot. It does happen where
Mhm.
people end up uh, sort of maybe they play once and then wasn't a great interaction. So then they don't play again and they feel awkward seeing the people there. What I want to say to that is this: yes, there's probably going to be a little bit of awkwardness, just like there would anywhere else you might see somebody or run into somebody that maybe you've had a falling out with or whatever.
Mhm.
One of the bigger differences between other places that you might see somebody, up to and including church or wherever, at the shop, I think most people are very emotionally mature, much more mature. I think to be in the lifestyle in general, you have to be somewhat emotionally mature.
Mhm.
And so just because maybe somebody didn't get along or there wasn't a great interaction or maybe you just don't like each other, you should be able to be in a space with others and be adults.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I don't really have a great answer to that. What about you, Mary? Though, what are your thoughts?
Um, I don't. This would just be me, because it can be kind of awkward and uneasy if I did have an interaction with someone and it didn't turn out the way it was, we all intended. Maybe there was miscommunication or whatever. But I would think, again, like you're saying, everyone um, has a certain level of maturity that's here at the club, that if that were to happen, you kind of nip it in the bud before it goes any further. And what I mean by that is, okay, yeah, you see the person, and they see you as well. Just acknowledge it and be like, "Hey, great to see you guys. Sorry things didn't work out the last time." Or, if there was a miscommunication, hey, we apologize as well, whatever. And, hope you guys have a good time tonight. It was great seeing you, and and just move along. The more I think you allow for that kind of like looking at each other and like, because then now everyone's thinking that the other one's talking about the other one and the experience and, oh my God, da da da. Just nip it. Just, acknowledge it and be adult enough to be, hey, it just didn't work out. Wish you well. You know, and
Yeah,
that.
I think all things can be solved through a conversation, provided that the people who are having the dialogue or conversation can manage their emotions
Right.
to a point where it's okay. Hey, we're going to see each other. Let's just be cool. We don't get we can agree to disagree on whatever
Mhm.
it is the thing is, let's have fun in the space.
Right. Yeah.
John says, thank you for getting to the question. Certainly does depend on the person, level of maturity, and that being involved in the EM requires. Yeah, I think you're going to run into people at different levels, different entry levels into the lifestyle or into E&M,
Mhm.
polyamory, kink. There are people that are brand new that have never done anything before. There are people that have been there for years and years and years. So, um, with time comes experience. I would always recommend that if people are having troubles at the club, especially with other members or even staff members, Mary Lou and I are always 100% approachable. Please, please, please always say something if there are
Mhm.
challenges. We take these things very serious.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
But as it relates to going to clubs, so I want to circle back to before you actually applied or registered to attend the club.
Mm-hmm.
Was there, how did you overcome the trepidation? What was the conversation you had with yourself? Because obviously you were concerned about what the club was going to be like, what was going to happen to you, as a woman. Were you going to be groped? Were you going to
Mm-hmm.
be accosted? Were you going to be murdered? How did you overcome that fear? What did you say that were like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to do it?
Um, I think for me overall, like, yeah, those things popped up in my head and so forth. But once I got to the space, I was like, I'm still in a public setting. You know, what could go wrong? I have my partner with me. We're both in this together, and it's supposed to be an adventure and it's supposed to be fun. So why not give it a try at least once?
So I'm curious, anybody else watching, what were your fears associated with attending either the shop or a club for the first time? If the shop wasn't your first, what was it like leading up to attending the club for the first time? What were your initial fears? Whether you were by yourself, meaning as an individual, or if you are part of a couple, what were some of your fears? I posted this question on the news feed on the
Yeah.
club's news feed,
Let's see if
and so
anyone-
I'm curious to know, what were they most nervous or fearful of?
Oh, no questions, but okay.
What I You said something earlier when you were talking about leading up to coming to the club
Mm-hmm.
is what to wear.
Yes.
Excuse me. And I find it interesting that there was number one, that was a concern for you, but I've heard that from other people. Like, either they show up way overdressed, in their opinion, overdressed. I don't think you
Mm-hmm.
can be overdressed for coming to the club personally.
Right.
We have people that come in suit and ties, that wear ties, dress shirts, whatever. And then there are people that are, like, I'll wear jeans. Obviously, I'm wearing a polo right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see different types of dress at the club. The commonality, I think, with all of those is that the dress is intentional, meaning that they intended to dress for the event or dress like they were going out. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's wearing a three-piece suit, but everyone's sort of dressing because they know they're coming out for a fun night. I think the exceptions to that would be maybe like Freaky Friday and Deviancy nights, where it's definitely more kink centric and you get really a lot of different types of dress at those events.
Yeah.
I think by and large, for most of our typical events, people tend to dress nicer.
Mm-hmm. So we have one response here was from Chantel. I'm single and my first time was, oops, just a fear of if anyone would talk to me. And being a female, the whole what to wear was a big worry of mine as well. Okay. Migote. First time attending as a single, was a formal couples account. I was scared no one would want to talk to me or I would be awkward because I was going solo. I was also scared to be approached at the same time. Big Bacchus. My initial fear was of being embarrassed by misstepping, not saying the right thing, or performance anxiety.
Those are all very interesting. I
Yeah.
think they're all very similar,
Mm-hmm.
and they really all resonate with, how do I present in the space? How do I act in the space?
Yeah.
Um, and I see that even with new people who come into the club, they're very nervous. I've talked with many people who ask, how do I approach somebody?
Mm-hmm.
And we instinctually actually know how to do it. But I think the most, if you ask 100 people, you're going to get 100 different answers. but I'm going to tell you, I think this is the true answer. I think this is the cheat code and the unlock to having wonderful communication with people.
Okay.
Just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And people are so afraid to just be honest. I mean, you got 3 people here right in a row who are nervous about how they're going to interact in the space. What do I say? Am I going to say the right thing? If you're nervous, then say you're nervous.
Right.
Hey, my first time here. I'm super nervous, but I really want to meet some people. Would you mind having a conversation?
Oh.
Being vulnerable right off of the rip is going to put you in a much better position to have an authentic conversation with somebody than, hey, first time here. How's your night going? Like
Mm-hmm.
those are questions that don't lead really very far. So if you can just start out with being open, honest, and authentic with people.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly don't lead with necessarily what your sexual interests are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe that's what some people might think the conversations are like, but the
Yeah.
reality is it is just very much a social atmosphere. The cool part is that you can have honest and frank discussions about your interests
Right.
once those conversations reach those points. Once everybody starts getting comfortable with sharing more like that. Um, so wondering what else.
Mm-hmm.
What have you heard, if anything, from others?
Well,
Fears.
I know for a lot of people, once they walk into the space, they become wallflowers, and they don't know how to engage other people, or um, their expectations are that, oh, I walk through the door, everyone should be running to come and meet me, and and that's not the case, because it depends on the vibe that you're giving off, and that you're approachable, and or that you're interested in making conversation with other people. Well,
I find it interesting. I'm looking at the comments from Chantal and Migote. Many clubs, when it comes to single ladies, they put this emphasis on single ladies being in the space, and how it would make it seem like they're popular. So it's interesting for me to see the other side of that from their perspective. Like they were afraid of not being approached, or being not talked to, or
mm-hmm.
whatever. And um because I hear that from couples,
Mm-hmm.
I hear that from single guys, I hear
Mm-hmm.
that from everybody.
Yeah.
Like most people who come into the space for the first time, that's what their concern is. Like, what if nobody talks to me? What if I'm rejected?
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just recommend being a little bold. If you show up at the club at 8:30 and you leave at 2, you've got literally 5.5 hours to meet people and make connections. So just be a little bold,
Mm-hmm.
especially those of you who have very limited time, and maybe you can only get out once in a great while. Um, it would be silly to show up to the club and sit at a table and stare at everybody for the rest of the night. And I see it happen so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least give yourself a fighting chance to have at least some sort of experience. Doesn't necessarily mean a sexual experience, but have an experience at the club that starts your fulfillment process.
Right.
Starting the process of exploring and experiencing things. Sex is not first and foremost at the club. It's I think it's earned.
It's a nice added benefit. Yeah, that's earned with um with how you approach others and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because they're just as vulnerable as you. You
Hmm.
know, being in a new space or being with somebody new. Yeah, it's something that you work up to.
Something really interesting. We had talked about Hito, and I want to touch on that for a minute,
Hmm.
because I've had um, my club experience has been much different than virtually everybody else. Simply because my first club experience was at my own club, and so I didn't really get to have those initial jitters like everybody else, and so I don't experience the space like most people get to. But when I went to Hito, what I found was, so first of all, I was super fucking nervous about having to be naked in front of other people, not realizing that it was only in certain areas where you had to do that. Nonetheless, there were times where I wanted to go over into the areas where most people were, which meant I had
Hmm.
to get completely undressed. And what I found doing that and then showing up and then, being in the pool or hanging out with literally everybody else who doesn't have a stitch of clothing on, it was like this great equalizer. There was no levels, so to speak, of like a social hierarchy.
Hmm.
And so I think about the club in that way. So when you become a member of the shop and you show up, yes, people are in different states of dress, of course. Um, but the playing field is leveled for you because the people that are in the space are interested in exploring. They are interested in some version of sexuality in some
Hmm.
shape or form. So a lot of that sort of initial, I don't want to say pressure, but maybe anxiety of, is this person going to be into what I'm into? And, woefully different than trying to meet somebody at a regular bar
Right.
or at, the store or whatever. Your chances are going to be much higher in a club like the shop to realize the things that you're looking for.
It's true. Very true.
Chantel says that, yeah, you definitely have to put yourself out there and approach people. I've never had anyone say, go away. Yeah. And I think that's, some people are afraid of that. Like they're just going to be like,
Hmm.
don't talk to me. It's not high school anymore,
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Have you had any other fears? I mean, you and I have gone to places together.
Hmm.
Have you had any trepidations or fears about going into new spaces?
I mean, I think everyone has a trepidation or fear about a new space because it's a new space, and they may not, even though they might go from our club to another club in another state or whatever, they may not necessarily know the ins and outs of that club, and you hope that the rules are somewhat similar. Um, but there's always that like little bit of anxiety because it's something. It's a new space. It's like, ooh, who am I going to see? What am I going to see? What's the potential for the evening? So there's always a little kind of like, you know, um, but I don't look at it as necessarily being a fear, um, nor kind of like an anxiety about it. It's as much as it is the excitement level of being in a new space. You know, I know I had previous experience going to Hito, and before you actually got to visit, and it didn't dawn on me till like a few days beforehand that everyone just kept telling you you had to be naked, so that you actually processed it as in, I get off the plane, I get to the resort, and I am naked for 7 days. wherever I
Pretty
go.
much, yeah. Well, because there are places, so there are nudist camps and stuff like
Right.
that where when you're outside of your tent,
Uh-huh.
cabin, whatever, you're butt ass naked. There's no clothing. So I just kind of had that in my mind that that's what Hito is
Yeah.
like.
Well, and probably because you're thinking about when we were at that nude beach in Qatar, and the little lady was yelling at all of us because our one friend had their swim trunks still on.
Mm,
Remember?
hmm.
It's like, this is a nude beach. You must be naked. You must be naked.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, she
Yeah.
wasn't
She
wrong.
wasn't wrong, you know. She just didn't know that the person got stung by a bee on their balls, and they were like,
Right. Yeah, obviously not aware of how the bee pheromone stuff works.
yeah. But yeah.
So Migote says that their girlfriend said that she wasn't scared, but she knew she wanted to get undressed and was worried about that. Like being naked in the space.
Maybe. Or how to like you want to, and it's like your mind is thinking, okay, I want to, but what if nobody else is? Like, should I still do it? Because is it not the norm, or are people not naked? Like, how to, you know, but
Chantal says Hito sounds great because the pressure of what to wear is completely gone.
you still
Kinda, yeah.
kind of, but every night they still have the theme parties where you got to dress up for those.
No, you don't, because I don't.
We don't. We generally
I'm
go with the color code, but
I am definitely poo poo on the dressing up for events. So occasionally, if it's something simple like white or glow or black or whatever, but
mhm.
we've gone to some events where it's like a space theme or whatever, and it's like, really.
But like, yes, on the shuttle bus to get to the resort, we have our little backpacks, and then there's a couple with like 5 freaking bags, these 62 linear inch bags, and you're like, are they moving in? Like, wait a minute, it's still a nude resort. Why do they need 5 bags?
Yeah, no, I don't understand that, but
Yeah,
costumes maybe.
maybe,
um, but
but
that's so if you are thinking about attending the club and you're not sure what to wear, just bring different outfits. We have lockers. We have
mhm,
plenty of people that bring several changes of clothing.
right.
They're street going home and or coming
What?
here and going home wear. The first part of the evening where you're socializing, and then the second part of the evening where you get a little bit more provocative and naughty.
Yes, yes.
So,
But again,
uh,
it's all in fun.
speaking of what to wear,
Ooh, Bacchus.
this weekend is
Yeah.
halfway to Halloween. And I haven't looked, but we were really close to selling out. I don't think I've updated it yet.
Uh-oh.
But I'm curious. Are you wearing a costume, Marilu?
I hadn't even thought about it. To be honest. I have a couple of things that I could obviously wear. That would be like a costume per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I really hadn't given it much thought. I'm kind of like caught in a
Conundrum.
conundrum because it's kind of like a Halloween Easter thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I I keep thinking of like Donnie Darko and and a bunny with a I don't know. It just kind of it's funny how halfway to Halloween falls, the week before or Easter or in the same month as Easter. So it's just kind of like I don't know. It's weird, you know.
Well, there is something else
Yeah.
very special about Saturday.
Yes.
Mary Lou's birthday is Saturday as well.
That it is. We didn't think about that when we I was like, go halfway to Halloween. Yes, Harvey the White Rabbit. Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
Are we gonna do birthday spankings for you?
No, but I'm more than willing to give someone else my birthday spankings.
I don't know. Is that like club policy? Can you give away your birthday spankings?
Well, as in me giving someone else, me being the spanker.
I wonder if anybody would be interested in being spanked by Mary Lou. Are there any volunteers? Are there any volunteers to get spanked by Mary Lou for her birthday?
Someone can pay tribute to me by taking my spankings.
You're giving them though, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Pockets. But yeah, hey. But yeah, don't know. But we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, yeah. So if you are considering attending this weekend, I would absolutely, positively get your tickets ASAP because it is close to selling out.
It is. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and it is over 200.
Oh shit! Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have to make some updates. Migote says, "Don't tempt me." I think they're considering the
Taking the
spankings.
well,
I might watch.
I do have quite a few different paddles.
Oh yeah, so why don't you pick out and show people the possibility of what they'll get flogged or paddled or spanked with?
Mm.
Oh, John says that Julie is curious, so perhaps it could be split between two people.
I don't know. I'm like, oh my god, I can barely hold this. Okay. We have our bamboo paddle with the body shop backwards specifically so it will leave a indentation of the name. Then we have it in a little bit more wooden.
Is that what you are those the implements you intend to use?
These are the ones that I have readily here in my office.
Ooh.
We have the old school body shop logo. This is an oldie but a goodie.
It looks like a cricket.
It does. Whew,
Is
nice
that what's
little
called a cricket bat? I don't know. I've never played cricket.
Oh, but it's got a nice little sheen to it. And then the oldie but a goodie.
I forgot about that one.
I need to use this just to work out and get my forearms ready.
Yeah, that's got some heft to it for sure.
It does. This is a two-hander.
So now I'm wondering if Julie and Migote are still interested, seeing what may be used.
So I'm looking at Keith says, one of my early events at the club, a lady sat by me. I complimented her on her flower hairband, just to have her look at me and say,
No way, and walk away.
No way, and walked away. So I avoid doing that now. Oh my God. Keith.
Listen, Keith, one bad experience is not equal to all bad experiences. Yeah. Please don't give up. And obviously, you've been very successful at the club.
Yes.
Keith is a longtime member and a very good friend also.
Oh my God. Bubbles says, boot to the butt, laughing my ass off. Big boxes those are great paddles. Amigo Tay says, of course. Bubbles, boot to the butt. Mm-hmm.
Well, we shall
and it's
see.
A Goodyear tire tread. See, it says Goodyear.
it's an aqua tread. An aqua tread.
It's an aqua tread Chem 60 Goodyear.
Yeah, that's a literal boot sole.
Yeah. See where it says Goodyear?
Well, I wish you all luck. I will not be participating in said swats or spankings or floggings, I'm sure I'll be busy around that time.
Mm-hmm. I do have a little purple one too. That's metal. That's like a roller, a ruler. But that's pretty stinging. But
yes, costumes are definitely encouraged for the weekend. It is
yeah.
halfway to Halloween. Halfway to Halloween is for those who just can't get enough Halloween.
Yes.
And this event keeps getting bigger and bigger. This is, I think, our 4th or 5th year now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look. DJ Never Nice will be your DJ this weekend.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm super pumped.
Yeah. What are you going to be?
What I always am, baby.
A sex club owner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about something for this Halloween, maybe, but I don't know.
For Halloween. Halloween.
Yeah, for regular Halloween.
Okay.
So,
I mean, you got to prepare for going to Hito, so you might as well just go get a leaf and put that on and walk around the club on Saturday.
how about I do that as a end of the night costume change, and then I chase people out in my fig leaf.
You could just hold one of my monstera plants in front of you.
Bubble says
God.
their costume is so dumb, but I'll look cute. Is this the secret, Bubbles? Are you allowed to share what it is? I think it's funny. I talked to people over the weekend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're dressing up." I'm like, "Oh, what are you gonna be?" "Oh, it's a secret." What? Like we're gonna steal your costume idea?
We're not stealing any costume ideas, but
so
we'll definitely be looking out for some creativity for this Halloween, halfway to Halloween. But
well, if you're watching this live stream, but you're not yet a member, but you want to attend halfway to Halloween, I'm going to recommend you visit bodyshoppittsburgh.com and click the Apply Now button. Fill out your application. Watch your CAP video, which is your Consent Awareness Policies Program video. Do your age verification. That's where you submit your ID to verify that you are over 20 or 21 and over, because we are a 21 and over club. We do have alcohol on premise. It is BYOB, as we noted earlier. If and when you're approved, you'll get a welcome email that will invite you to come to the site. You'll be able to interact and meet other members online. We have our own little small social community, and we call it a news feed. And it's a great way to get to know people before you actually show up to the event. So for those of you who are super nervous and not quite ready for the club experience, just apply, join, and you'll have access to the online community.
Yep.
If you're not quite ready for the club experience, or you're not ready to meet people, but you're curious about it, maybe you've got a partner and you've talked about it, but you really aren't quite sure how to navigate it, and you're looking for some professional help, you can visit MaryLouandYou.com and book an appointment with the board-certified sexologist, who does also happen to be the wonderful, beautiful woman above me, which is where I like her. I think that's it. Unless anybody else has any other stories that they want to share, I think we're going to sign off for the night.
Yeah.
We will be back here next Monday at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time for Shop Talk. If we don't see you this weekend, we will see you next Monday. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the night. I'm going to hit the let's get out of here button, and have a great rest of the week.
I'm going to go get me some Mexican chocolate.
Wait, Julie wants to know, can I wear a full body morph suit with my SSM shirt? As long as the shirt's on the outside, yes.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, hold on. For those of you who don't know, an SSM shirt is it's a safer space monitor shirt. They're green shirts that some of our staff wear, and their responsibility is to keep an eye on the members in the space to make sure that people are following the rules and smack the shit out of them when they don't. They go get Marilu, and you definitely don't want that. So you guys have a good night. Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
House. 7 days a week. That wet ass pussy good. My pull-out game weak. Ooh, yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Swimming in it, baby. I'ma bring a bucket and a mop, darling. Give you everything I got. I'm falling. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Pussy. Beat it up, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put your pussy in my face. Sweep my nose like a credit card. I'm on top, you wanna ride. Do a gig or I'll listen to. Spit it in your mouth, girl, while you looking in my eyes. Your pussy is wet, I'ma take a dive. I'ma tie you up like you're a prize. Let's roleplay, I'll wear disguise. I'ma park my Mack truck in your garage. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Swimming in it, baby. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Pussy. Gobble me, swallow me, drip it down inside of me. I gotta jump out before it gets inside of you. Tell me where to put it, but don't tell what you about to do. Talk your shit, baby, bite your